Hey y'all, I'm sorry that this is so late. I just been kind of on a hiatus for a bit because I've been working a lot. So yeah, when I do have a chance to film, I'm just like meh about it. So here we are. So this is my January wrap-up and my February to be read. I read 9 books in January and I'm kind of disappointed in that. I didn't get to the 3 books I had wanted to read, but that's okay. That's fine. So let's just get in with it, and they are out of order, so I'm sorry about that, but yeah, let's go. The first one is Dr. Frankenstein's Daughters by Suzanne Wein, and this book was better than I thought it was going to be. Don't remember much about the Mary Shelley's version. I read it back when I was a senior in high school, but I really liked this book. It's told in two different perspectives, the twin girls of Dr. Frankenstein, and it was really interesting. I really like the diary formats, and I gave this like a 3.5, 4 stars. Like, I really love the mystery aspect they threw in there, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the twins, so yes. The next one is Even When You Lie to Me by Jessica Alcott. Gave this one a 3.5, but I'm probably going to lower my rating to 3 because the more I think about it, the more I like it, and the more I dislike it. And I don't know, I'm just kind of sick of the student-teacher trend, and by the time that even got to the point where, you know, something was going to happen, it was just very disappointing and a letdown. So, yes. The next one is Things Hoped For by Andrew Clements. This is kind of like a companion novel to Things Not Seen, and which was like one of my favorite middle grade books back in the day, and still one of my favorite books. The main character in that one, Bobby, is a side character in this one, but to be honest, I kind of wish that this was just his perspective, because I wasn't the biggest fan of the narration of this book. And plus it had a slow beginning, but once it did start going, it got going, and I did enjoy it, and I think I gave it around 3 stars. The next one is Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and to be honest, I think I may have given this like a 3.5. I might lower it to 3 because when I was writing like my blog review of like a read and wrap up about the books I read in January, I totally blanked and did not remember any single thing that happened. But once I was really thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. I really liked the writing style. Wasn't the biggest fan of any of the characters, and that was like my main thing, was the characters. And I really did like the climax and who the killer was and all that stuff. It's very interesting. So yes. The next one is I'm Not Who You Think I Am by Peg Kurt, and this is a middle grade read, and I think I gave this like 3.5 stars. It was actually really enjoyable for what it was. So definitely recommend this book, but it's about this girl named Ginger, who's this woman kind of like, not really stalks her, but kind of claims that she's her mother. So yeah, I liked it for what it was, so 3.5 stars. The next one is Story of a Girl by Sarah Sarr. This is really disappointing. I do kind of want to watch the Lifetime movie that it's based off, or the movie is based off the book. But I think I gave this like 2.5 stars. I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like the writing style, but I love the meaning behind the story, forgiveness. I absolutely loved it. So yes. I mean, I would recommend it for that, but I am curious about the movie now, though, so yeah. The next one is Exit, Pursued by a Bear by E.K. Johnston. I was so very disappointed in this book. Gave it like 2 stars. I just wasn't the biggest fan of any of the characters. The only good thing, the only reason why I was giving this, am giving this 2 stars, is because of the support system that the main character had. I thought that was a very interesting aspect. You don't see a lot of good moral support in YA literature, so yeah. But other than that, I didn't like any of the characters, wasn't the biggest fan of the writing style, and 2 things that happened in this book I just didn't feel like it was necessarily, but trying to put aside my own personal beliefs, I can see why she did add that in the story, but yes. Still wasn't the biggest fan of it, though. Yeah. And the last book I read in January was The Gardener by S.A. Bolden. Wasn't planning on going to read it in January, but I did. Gave this 2.5 stars. I really like the writing style, and I love the, I read really fast, but didn't like the characters, and I feel like they kind of flew the love at first sight type thing, and I wasn't here for that. I'm sick of that trope too, so yes. But this one is like they kind of grow humans in a greenhouse, and I just thought that's really interesting because you never know what the government's doing and everything, so yeah. So as for my February TBR, I am hoping to read the 4 books to the Kenny 81 series by Jeanette Oak, and it's When Calls the Heart, When Hope Springs New, When Breaks the Dawn, and When Comes the Spring. And they have a show of the series, and I'm very excited to continue on with it. I think I stopped at like season 3, and I think season 5 just ended recently, so yes, very excited to read the books to compare the two. The next one I actually already finished, but I don't want to give a spoiler about like my rating is, but it's Our Song by Jordana Freiberg, and I don't want to make a comment about this, but wasn't the biggest fan of it. I'll get it more in my February wrap-up. And the next one I'm actually currently reading, and that is Shuffle Repeat by Jen Klein. So pretty excited to get more into this one. I have high hopes, so hopefully I won't be too disappointed. And you can see my dog stretching behind me. Anyway, so that was it. I'm sorry that this video was so late, but I'll try to make more and stick to a schedule. Yes, until next time.